Hey everybody, this is MyCollectables coming back with another video, and there is a huge interview that David Yu did with Matt Gondek on his Clean Break podcast. Now, if you don't know about it, Matt Gondek is a wonderful, amazing artist that obviously has NFTs on, VV, and is like an amazing artist in his own right, obviously. And if you're not following him on Twitter, make sure you do. But he has a podcast series that you can actually get to if you go to his Twitter page. I will put the link to the podcast in the description of this video. But he had David Yu on, and they spoke for about an hour. And this is just a quick recap, but you have to go listen to this interview. Okay, I'm just giving you a quick recap here, but I really want you to go over there, click the link, and go to Matt's, podcast. Listen to the whole thing because I can only give you a quick summary. But there's so much amazing stuff in there that a lot of people may have seen this because it just came out like just a day or so ago. This is not like, it's been out for a long time, but I went and listened to the whole thing for you right here. Tons of amazing stuff, right? So go make sure you click the link for sure. But let's get into this interview here. Just a quick recap. So David Yu comes on, and Matt does a great job asking him lots of questions, good, tough questions too. And they go through the whole, kind of the history of where, David came from and what their plans are. So it's definitely a must see. The first part is that we found out David's been traveling a lot, going to meeting licensors. He's been in Asia. He's going meeting hardware manufacturers, which is really interesting if you're thinking about like cold storage wallets and stuff like that. And also, like physical toys and things like that they're planning, all sorts of stuff. So he's been traveling a lot. And just in case we haven't heard from David in a bit, he's been all over that area because he talked about how like COVID restrictions have been, let go a lot. So he's able to go and do these things and meet with new artists and new IPs. So expect a lot of new information about that coming. They talk about that. So that's one part they talk about. Then they do talk a bit about VEVE'S history. And there is some new stuff in there that I never heard before. Early struggles, early meetings and experiences, kind of like what it was like to go into some of those like early meetings, and also the vision that really David Yu and them, and Dan had about creating a sideshow collectible sort of environment, in a digital way, like, with these 3D collectibles, like, my Mando over here, like this kind of thinking. And with some of the stuff they talked about when they went into these meetings, it's really, really cool. You definitely should listen to that for sure. Now, they do then go into VEVEVERSE talk and where the app is going, and they talk about like the home and our showroom and what David's plan is and what his plan has been all along, just with the limitations in technology, and especially in the early days of the app, how they're not able to do those things, but they are now, and this is what they're working on. And they talked about like the huge growth and stuff like that at the beginning, and the showroom just being very basic, the one that we have now. This is really interesting stuff because it gets you inside David's mind and where they're actually taking this. Is very important for people to hear this interview. So I really want to thank Matt for putting this together for sure. But really, really cool stuff about the VEVEVERSE coming up. So make sure you check it out for those reasons for sure. Then they talked about like the environmental impact, and the carbon neutral and some of the licensor requirements and stuff like that. And, how they had to talk to them about it and explain to these licensors about what they're doing and upcoming projects that they're going to be supporting, not specific ones named or anything, but just things they're going to be doing more in this area. Really interesting for sure. So you definitely want to be listening to that portion of it. Then they talked about the crazy growth that VEVE had in the beginning and all the problems that it brought up that they did not anticipate. I mean, David's experience, during this time, working 18 hours a day and all this kind of stuff and the pressures and challenges. It's very interesting. It gives you some perspective of like the journey that we're on with VEVE here and like where things are going. And now they're structured and organized, and now things are in place and things are like moving. And this year there's going to be tons of releases that they're doing and updates to the app that we all are waiting for sure. But it just gives you some little bit of a sense of like what they went through and what they're going through now and how things are really kind of coming together. It's a really cool little bit there they talk about for sure. And then this is another big one. Interoperability was actually talked about. Matt brought up this question about why VEVE NFTs aren't interoperable. So like this is a really good part that where David explains, why they aren't interoperable. And the key word here is yet, because the plan has always been for them to be that way, but they do talk about He does talk about the original reasons why, keeping everything safe on the app for new users who don't know a lot about crypto and not having to worry about any kind of stuff like that. Keeping everything where in this particular space that it's in, and also then looking at where we're going to be able to put these NFTs, and partnering up with other bigger marketplaces that are developing like Amazon and stuff like this in a long-term plan. So we will have interoperability, they say, David says, on our VV collectibles and NFTs. It's just a matter of when and how, and this is what the whole space is developing. It's a longer term plan. That was really amazing to listen to that. You got to listen to that for sure, and let me know your thoughts, and of course let Matt know your thoughts as well for sure. And then they talked about current market conditions and previous ones. I mean, this interview is chock full of amazing stuff, you guys. You got to go listen to it. And just current market conditions and stuff, and how the current market conditions are allowing VV to then progress with all the stuff they want to do, and all building everything, and how before they had to cool the market down with the prices of the collectibles that they did, and how many additions they gave us, like tons of additions, relating it to the trading card businesses and how they do that. They don't want their stuff to be too valuable, so they actually had strategies to cool the market down, which is really interesting, because we think it's just people leaving and stuff, but really it's just the recession. But there's actually strategies they put in place to bring all these crazy prices down, and what their intentions were when they sell some of these items, at the current prices that they sell them at. It's really quite interesting to get into. And I'd love to hear your feedback on that too. What you think about the whole interview for sure, right? So that was just a little interview recap with David Yu. Now, like I said, you got to go listen to it. The link is in the description of this video, and it's also on Matt Gondek's Twitter page. Make sure you're following him. The link is right there. And he's got other interviews he's done, which is really cool. This one's about an hour. So, it doesn't take a lot of time to listen to. And of course, I haven't spoken to Matt at all about this. It's just me sharing it with you because I found it through one of his tweets, and I've been listening to it. And I think everybody should really go and, listen to this interview for sure. It's a great one. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that, and let me know what you think in the comments section. I'll see you in the next video, and happy collecting.